Hello, everyone. I'm Dwight Drummond. Welcome to CBC News Toronto. Premier Doug Ford and Federal Finance Minister Dominic LeBlanc are meeting in Washington today with the U.S. Commerce Secretary. They're hoping to come away with a coherent plan for the tariff road ahead. Our senior reporter at Queen's Park, Mike Crawley, joins us now from Washington. And Mike, what are the Premier and the rest of the Canadian contingent hoping to get out of today's meeting?
Well, look, Dwight, ultimately what they would love to achieve and see is an end to all of this tariff stuff and some sort of promise that it's not going to keep happening. That is, of course, not a particularly realistic goal. So really what Doug Ford, Dominic LeBlanc are hoping to achieve today is to bring down the temperature a little bit, get to know the people on Ford's team a little bit more, on Trump's team a little bit more directly. So who they're going to be meeting with is the Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, along with the U.S. Trade Representative, Jameson Greer. And, you know, if you look at the statement, the joint statement that was put out between Ford and Lutnick after the whole electricity situation blew up on Tuesday, they said that the meeting was going to be to discuss a renewed USMCA. That's the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement, sometimes called the new NAFTA. This is, something that Dominic LeBlanc yesterday said isn't really on the agenda to be discussed. That's putting the cart before the horse a little bit because, yes, the USMCA is up for renewal, but those discussions aren't supposed to happen until 2026. Anyway, so when Ford was asked what he's hoping to achieve, he was asked this yesterday at Queen's Park. Take a listen.
Well, we're just going down there to, first of all, build a relationship and see exactly what their needs are. And I said I'd convey that right back to the premiers. And, I don't want to set the expectations that we're walking away with a USMCA deal, because that's not going to happen. But at least we'll get a feel and what they need. And you're going to look at someone across the table and look into their eyes. That's the most important thing.
So we don't know a lot from Doug Ford's office about the details of the meeting. All we know is that it's happening this afternoon at the White House, which is about a block away from where I'm at right now. Dwight?
Mike, it is interesting that we have a premier involved along with the feds in a meeting with top official from the Trump administration. So what do we know about the attitude toward Ford from Trump and Lutnick?
Yeah, that's been interesting to watch, Dwight, over the last couple of days in particular. On Tuesday, the day after Doug Ford imposed that surcharge on electricity going to those three states in the northern parts of the U.S., Donald Trump went kind of ballistic. He was really angry about this, and that prompted a call from Howard Lutnick to Doug Ford, in which Doug Ford agreed to back down, take those electricity measures off the table in exchange for having this meeting. And then you had sort of an interesting response from Donald Trump about Doug Ford. Take a listen.
As you know, there's a very strong man in Canada who said he was going to charge a surcharge or a tariff on electricity coming into our country. He has called and he said he's not going to do that.
All right, so a very strong man, Donald Trump, referring to Doug Ford there. The tone really shifted yesterday. So in the Oval Office, you had Donald Trump talking about, we had a problem with Ontario, and as soon as I said what was going to happen, an hour later, it was off the table. You also had Howard Lutnick in an interview with CBS referring to Doug Ford as, quote, some guy in Ontario. So he went within 24 hours from being a very strong man up in Canada to some guy in Ontario. Now, perhaps this is a little bit of gamesmanship ahead of today's meeting, like perhaps giving Doug Ford a bit of a message that maybe isn't such a big deal in the eyes of Howard Lutnick and the Trump administration. But anyway, Doug Ford's going to have a chance to find that out face to face. This is part of a relationship that Doug Ford has built over the last month or two with Howard Lutnick. They've been having direct phone calls. And that's one of the reasons why this meeting is actually happening today.